Welcome into the Marvel Stuff Podcast, where, like we do every single week, we're here to talk about Rey Mysterio coming in WrestleMania. We love this guy. Obviously, huge wrestling fans here, right? Josh Kennedy from Facebook.
Yep. He was just inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I'm glad. Spoiler alert: if you haven't watched the first day of WrestleMania, but he finally put his son in his place. You know, his son's been mouthing off, being disrespectful to his mom, threw a drink in his sister's face. Rey Mysterio, he pulled the belt off his costume, and he started whipping the man.
Love it.
It was great.
It's so
Shout out
good.
Rey Mysterio with the dub after getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. It was sick.
I think WrestleMania is just a giant April Fool's joke, and I love it though. And people love it.
It's going on right now. They turned it into like a 2-part thing, which is not what it was when I was watching wrestling back at 10 years ago. But yeah, they want to make more money. It's at SoFi Stadium, 80,000 seats per night. I guess they're capitalizing on their money.
I did hear that they had turned it into like an undercard day and a big day.
The first day had a couple of like pretty good ones, but yeah, I believe John Cena's fighting today for the United States Championship. We got Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes returning from AEW. I think this joke has gone on long enough. I think we can safely move on to the Marvel stuff.
If you guys want us to talk about wrestling more often, that is not something we will do. We will take your opinion on many things, including this next topic. But WrestleMania is not one of them because.
Well, if you do though, let me know. I'll bother Coach Zach DeLong. I'll bother Coach Zach DeLong, and we'll do a wrestling episode. It'll be great.
There you go. I do love that guy. Yeah, we got a little bit of Marvel news. We're also waiting for Secret Invasion trailer to go off. They've been saying it drops tonight all day. But what does tonight mean?
They're gonna let it drop at 11:59. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, in that case, you're not gonna get a response.
Yeah, we'll watch it live if it pops up while we're recording. That's for sure, though.
Yep, absolutely. We sure will. But there's some other news that we want to talk about. We normally don't talk about the news. We did say something about doing a quiz, but we don't have contestants for it, which is fine. We'll get a quiz eventually. But
yeah, they did win the poll, so make sure you guys are on the lookout for that. I guess I didn't specify what they wanted to see next week. I just said what they want to see in the future. So we'll do another quiz.
Okay. Loopholes, you guys can suck it. We have no respect for our fans. I'm kidding. No. But there is some stuff we do want to talk about. I think this Jonathan Majors thing has gone on enough. Not that we've gotten enough information to have any educated opinion,
right?
But it has put the Marvel universe into a bit of flux. I made fun of it a little bit on April Fool's Day, which is to make fun of it. I mean, it is a serious matter, but
yes,
what it means to the Marvel universe isn't necessarily a serious matter.
I will say, broad face, I do want to speculate on this a little bit, but I believe that this is just kind of going to be one of those things that kind of just goes away. I think he's too big of a star. I guess I don't know what actually happened, so there's nothing I can really speculate on. But if I had to guess, things are going to move on exactly how they planned it before, and
which isn't an endorsement of if it should or shouldn't be that way. It's just an endorsement of the reality of the world. But
that man, like, he's fumbling the bag. He's like, he did Lovecraft Country. He did Ant-Man. He did Creed. He did like a bunch of stuff all at like the same time. Within the last 2 years, he's had like 6 or 7 projects come out, which just kind of happens from like the way that the filming was scheduled through COVID and yada, yada, yada. But the fact that his face is everywhere right now, it's a tough pill to swallow. If I
can't think of the film right now, but there was a film going through the festivals. Because I do a little Oscar podcast stuff. He's supposed to be like an Oscar, contending role. Which things
wasn't
like
it some military movie, like plane movie?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But we wanted to do I think it is a military movie. All right, anyway, so what we want to do is we want to talk about a little bit of what could happen.
Well, let's bring in Tim in the comment section because he came in pretty much immediately. I always appreciate you being here. It's found to be at fault. They could always do a storyline to keep, just replace the actor.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the multiple options. This is one of them. So let's talk through it.
Yes.
Is it feasible at this point to just recast? They've done it before.
I was just going to say recasting was kind of like taboo for a little bit there. But at this point, they're just doing it all willy-nilly. And they've been going on for 20 years. So it's like, is Liv Tyler going to come back for the next Avengers movie? That's speculating. But we don't know if she's going to show up. And if they recast Betsy Ross, would anyone actually care? Like 3 people?
No.
Exactly.
This is a little bit the bigger name. It's a little bit more like out there. You know, you're kind of pushing one person as a big deal, so it's harder to recast that person. But I think it's well within the structure of Marvel to just, hey, you guys are adults. You know what happened. We recast. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, they kind of at some point just have to stop babying the fans. Like, I get that you want consistency among the storyline, and I'm a big proprietor of that as well. The fact that like we might be getting some of our favorite characters back is awesome, but at the same time, like the reality is, if you committed a crime, you should probably be punished and not be starring in kids movies.
I am
you
curious
call
to
it a kids
know.
movie.
I mean, when you think about recasting, I mean, do you recast roles he's already filmed for? And like refilm things. Like I don't know how far along they are.
Well, they call this
in most films
the Ezra Miller take. That actor, they got in big trouble for like robbing a house, so they delayed the movie, and now the Flash is finally coming out this year. And from what I've been hearing, it's like next level amazing. So they're not recasting Ezra. The fact that DC's taking a complete reboot right now, I think that character might get just recast later down the line. But at this point, they're choosing to release the movie with Ezra Miller in the starring role, and that's just what DC's doing. And I would argue that Jonathan Majors being the main antagonist for the future of the MCU is a bigger deal than a one-off Flash movie, even though I love the Flash.
Right. It is. Yes. I mean, there's a lot of balls to juggle. I think Marvel could go that way, like you said. I think the likely scenario is they put their head in the sand, and legal process can take years, and there's usually a settlement. Who knows?
That's kind of the big issue. Is like, I guess it really depends on what happens to him. Is he going to be able to keep living his life normally? Is he going to be indicted? I don't know what's going to happen there. But if like they have to keep this Marvel machine stops for no one. I mean,
no,
Chadwick Boseman was a huge part of the MCU, and it's not like anyone even considered just dropping the whole storyline. They're like, nope, I guess we just don't have that character anymore. And I don't think they're at fault for doing that. But if they do it again, I mean, you got to do, man. Money's got to keep flowing.
Here's what I think is a more interesting take on because I've seen this take around, and Tim just jumped in the comments and said, so thank you again, Tim. This idea of, well, you can it's multiverse, just pick a different actor and say that's why. I almost wouldn't do that. I would almost just be like, nah, it's this, because I think they want to do the same Kang that was in Quantumania. I think they want it to be that Kang.
Right.
So I would still have it just be that Kang, and it's just a different actor, and that's just the way it is. Like you said, we don't need to baby people. We don't need to like say it's a different multiverse one. We saw a bunch of faces in the after credit.
Did anyone care when we recast Rhodey? No, because it was like early on in the MCU, and they didn't acknowledge it. They didn't do anything. They didn't do a special storyline of explaining why it's a different actor. They're just like, hey, couldn't get a deal done with Terrence Howard. Welcome in Don Cheadle. Moving on.
Yep, and I think that's what I would, if I was going to do the recast route. The things we have to do, right? You can't do the change the storyline route. You can't just be like Kang Dynasty doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but I mean, theoretically, there hasn't been enough movies for it to like really be a big deal.
Right now, who are they going to switch them out with?
Yeah, the bigger problem is like, what are you going to do?
Well, Marvel's 10 years in the future already, as far as like what they're planning. So it's not like you can just retroactively take through an entire, probably 3-4 years of storyline. They're just like, oh, well, guess we're not doing that anymore. That's not going to happen. They're not scrapping it.
Exactly. So the Kang is going to exist. It's just a matter of, is it going to be Jonathan Majors or someone else? But I just to say my point, I don't want it to be like it's a different multiverse, that's why it looks different. Like, just don't even acknowledge it. Just literally, if you recast, just put a new actor in. Don't even acknowledge that it's a different actor. We're adults. We get it. Like, we're not even adults. Kids get it. Like, kids.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, in like, that's the thing is like the kids don't even really care. Once they get a little bit older, they care a little bit. But when they get to that point, they kind of understand how the world works a little bit better, and they just kind of move on past it. So I get that it's fan service to keep the same actor around, but when it stops being a profitable idea, just recast the character. We'll see if this happens. I mean, I got nothing but respect for Jonathan Majors' acting ability. I think he's fantastic in everything I've seen him in, and I hope he gets to move forward as this character, barring what actually happened, and he, is.
Yep. And at the end of the day, I guess is my other take when we sort of dance around the moral question of like, what should we think? What should we want? I am not in charge, right? We are the
Right,
Marvel Stuff
exactly.
Podcast. We have nothing to do with Marvel. This is a joke. It's Marvel's decision. It's their moral dilemma. If they put him in the movies, I'm gonna watch the movies.
Yes.
Like, it's not. I'm not here to make the moral choice of if he should or shouldn't be in the movies. I'm just here to watch Marvel movies. So, I leave that kind of up to them. That's how I take it anyway.
Right. Yeah, no, it's a fair way to look at it. It's like we don't have any control. Our opinions aren't really taken into consideration in big time decisions like this. I mean, it's not like they're just like, oh, I wonder if the two hosts on Marvel Stuff podcast or any of the other podcasts or fans are like fanfares or fan pages.
They
on
should
social
though,
media.
because I could have made Quantumanium better. I feel confident in that assessment. I feel confident I could have made Quantumanium better.
Yeah, that movie wasn't that great. Eventually, we do have one friend who's shown up on my other podcast, Jacob Stever, who defends that very adamantly, and I want to get him on here and put him in the hot seat because I don't understand how you could love Quantumanium. It was okay,
It's just
at best.
It's just super mid. Tim brings up kind of the last thing Marvel could do, which is just delay. I think they delayed things.
I don't think they can.
It's tough.
Not in like DC had the liberty of doing that because a lot of the future of the DC universe was already up in the air. There wasn't like an established game plan at that point, and they were just kind of making decisions on a whim. And when that one came up, they're like, "Hey, let's delay. Flash movie can come out in 2 years, and if people are still mad, we just can the thing and lose hundreds of millions of dollars." But that's not the decision that ended up happening. They're releasing the movie this year, like I'm talking about. And I don't think Marvel has that opportunity because in 2 to 3 years, we're on to the next Avengers movie. That's the blessing and the curse of having a universe like this. It's like it has to keep moving. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah, definitely the biggest problem with delaying is that he's connected to too many movies at this point. We already know he's connected to so many movies.
Yes.
There's just nothing you could do about it. Whereas, like, if he was Ant-Man, right? If he was Ant-Man instead of Kang, you could survive just not having Ant-Man come out for a couple years.
Right.
Put a couple post-credit scenes in, things make sense, whatever.
Well, yeah, they can just explain people disappearing, like Thor and Hulk weren't in Civil War. They're just like, yeah, off in space. We don't know where Banner is. Moving on.
Yeah, but you just can't do that when it's the bad guy for everybody at this point, really. He's shown up to be the bad guy, everything. But I think it's an interesting topic. But again, I don't want to speculate. I don't spend all day speculating on that because we could do it all day and then it turns out it's fine.
All of it's wrong. Yeah, that's like it's fun to speculate a little bit, but at the same time, this episodes like this just don't age well because if you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong, and no one's gonna go back and like, they called it 2 weeks early. Like, what are we doing here?
I am curious if you guys. I mean, we're going to put a poll up at the end of this. If you guys want us to talk more about this news when it breaks, let us know. We normally don't do it because we think we have boring opinions. We know that, like, we're not going to hot take it like a lot of people. And so we don't want to waste your time. But if you guys enjoy listening to us break news a little bit more, let us know. That's what we're going to do today. If you like it.
Your boy got his degree in journalism for a reason. I can be there.
He is your boy. I did not.
Yeah, that was me. Me.
All right, let's move on to other news then. I think there was the Daredevil news about, well, I guess, it's sort of speculation, but it sort of seems like it was news. I feel confident in this assessment that it's supposed to be Daredevil was gone during the blip in his story.
Yeah, Kingpin came up and he's eventually going to become mayor of New York. Now, if they go with this storyline, I'm a big comic book head, as most of you guys know, and they just recently kind of did the story it was called Devil's Reign, and Daredevil was the main character, and it was just Kingpin being in the position of power as mayor of New York, and it was a very intriguing storyline. He used the Purple Man. He got him in like this weird almost satellite thing where he broadcast his powers across New York and he convinced everyone to vote for him. And that's how he rose to power. I mean, they're probably not going to go about it that way, but it was a fun storyline to read. And Daredevil versus the mayor of New York is a crazy storyline, especially because Kingpin hired some like former villains as like the new police force. It was very comic booky, but they could take some of the ideas and apply it to a really good Daredevil show. And I'd be really excited to see that.
I think the best part of having any street level hero is when the town itself sort of is the enemy. Like
Yep.
a lot of Spider-Man, the issue is like, how do you deal with the public relations of it? I think.
Well, yeah, Norman Osborn was like, you know, the darling in some comic books where he's just like, oh, he gives to charity. Why are you trying to mess with him, Spider-Man? And obviously,
Yeah,
he
I
had
think that's
ill
interesting.
intent. Yeah, and it's good stuff.
I think that's the best part about Kingpin is this idea that like, and it's like Penguin with Batman, stuff like that, where it's
Yep.
this idea of I'm taking on this bad guy, but the whole world kind of thinks I'm the one who sucks. And
Yep.
I think that makes it really cool for someone like Daredevil, who like he also has to deal with like the law and what he can and can't do. And
Also makes it very exciting for Punisher being, it sounds like he's going to be a pretty big part of this show. And the fact that it could be that duo just kind of taking on New York one block at a time sounds pretty sweet.
yep, I think I'm excited. I mean, you guys already know that we are excited for Daredevil.
Yeah,
It's probably
I mean-
the thing I'm most excited for.
We already had an episode where they did all these announcements, and I specifically said it was the thing I'm looking forward to the most because I love Daredevil.
Yeah, and all the details I keep hearing coming out, it's not because it's such a big show. I think it is going to have a couple.
That's another
more cameos than we
recasting.
think.
Vanessa got recast. No one cares, but you know she also got recast in the MCU. It's just gonna keep happening, and that's I don't think that's a problem.
That's yeah. So I think that's an interesting news bit. The Fantastic Four news.
Yes,
They got a new writer. This news kind of hits on two fronts. You brought up the first front, which is annoying. It just seems like the movie's never going to come out. The more they switch things,
they keep changing. Like the fact that they changed the writer means there's no script, which means there's been no progress, and there's probably I don't even know if they've casted the Fantastic Four yet, and it's just slow moving, dude. I think we're in like a lull for Marvel in the MCU as a whole. Like we're not getting shows right now. Clearly, we're doing filler episodes because they chose to cut back on some of these. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, Marvel's always going to be in the zeitgeist, but you don't want to over pollute. It's a tough thing to balance for sure.
Yeah, but I just think you want, because we've talked about this, you want your big names to get people excited.
Yes.
So we want good news on Fantastic Four. We want to hear, look at this cool casting. Look at it. Like it seems like the X-Men are kind of on track. We're getting like, oh, there's going to be X-Men here.
I think they're good.
Wolverine.
I think they have so much that's already been filmed or is in the process of being filmed, is because the X-Men are coming before the Fantastic Four. I can pretty much guarantee that, and that's fantastic because they're the big names. But at the same time, I mean, Fantastic Four is Marvel's first family, and I really want to see that and how they play with our characters. There's a lot of fan speculation about them coming from other multiverses and things, and there's a lot of interesting storylines you could do with the Fantastic Four here.
But we don't know what they're doing because they don't know what they're doing, which is frustrating. It's frustrating that I just want to hear positive news. I want to hear movement. But on the other side of the coin, it's the writer from Avatar.
Yes, The Way of Water,
which is a movie I like.
We reviewed
but
it on
I don't
the
know
podcast.
that the writing was anything I liked. Yeah, we did.
That's true. The CGI was next level. That's what made it that good. The actual writing was like, okay, the friendship between the boy and the alien whale, which I know he doesn't like him being called whales, but name it something simpler, and then I won't call it a whale.
Yep, I agree with that. Yes, I mean, it's definitely not, combined with the fact that it's bad news.
Yeah.
And it's not like an actively really cool piece of, it's not like, oh, hey, James Cameron is the new director of.
He'll never do it. He's never going to do Marvel.
Like if it was something like that, then at least it's like, okay, you're changing it, but you're changing it to a name that excites me. Yeah. That's not what it is. So I don't.
We'll see how that one goes. But switching gears a little bit, I think it's either confirmed or very, very strongly implied by the voice actor who's doing Venom, Spider-Man 2, the video game's coming in September now. That seems to be the speculation. And I know Coach is obsessed. We did a video game ranking podcast, and the first one took your number one.
It's one of the best games there is.
Did you play the Miles Morales one? Because I have not, but I have played the first Spider-Man one now, and I will get around to Miles. But
Miles, it's the same game. It's just it's a cool little tiny story, which is a little annoying, but yeah, I like it. Why have we got anything about our friends over at the Secret Invasion yet? Have you seen the poster at least?
I have seen the poster. It kind of like almost heavily implies that there's a scroll that is in the place of Nick Fury, and I didn't love that.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we already do know that. We already know that there is one because it shows that it's in the. What
Yes.
movie is that in? Where it shows?
Yeah, where it shows. Yeah. I don't remember which movie it is, but yes.
Oh, I can't think of it now. Someone in the comments, let me know what movie it is that it shows someone who's in the place of Nick Fury. Although I think there's going to be the human Nick Fury is going to be the
main character.
Here.
Emilia Clarke, she's going to be great. I think. I mean, we've seen the first initial trailer from months ago that we got us excited in the first place. But yeah, we're looking forward to this new one dropping.
But if it ever does, if the trailer ever truly does drop, but I think. I mean, this is a show I'm excited about, so I guess we'll chat on it for just a minute before the trailer drops, if it does or doesn't. I think I'm getting more excited for the show, although it is interesting because you think about it, the fact that someone as big time as Samuel L. Jackson is doing a TV show, it's like wild.
But there's an SNL skit that was just a few weeks ago where like everybody's doing TV shows now, especially for Apple TV, because he already has an Apple TV show that came out like a year and a half ago.
Wait, he does?
Yes, he does.
Oh.
It's like the Tales of Ptolemy Gray or something like that. I forget the exact title, but yeah, Apple TV. Which, if you guys aren't watching Ted Lasso right now, you're making the wrong decisions in life because it's wholesome and wonderful.
It is wholesome and wonderful. It's one of the best shows. It's the only reason to get Apple TV. Well, it was the reason I got Apple TV.
Well, that's something. Once we finish up on the Marvel section, we haven't done our extra credit in quite a while. We'll talk about the things we're doing outside of the MCU once we finish up the news here, and then button her up, call it an episode, huh?
All right, I love it. Let's go and check. You got your YouTube poll?
Yeah, up? I got a feeling maybe it'll be 9:00 Eastern Standard. It's 8:55 currently, so it's not.
I got something for you though. In the meantime.
Okay.
All right. I'll give you a little preview to our quiz. I wrote a bunch of them, but I'll give you a preview to get you warmed up for next week.
Oh yeah, I gotta get a one up on whoever I'm going against.
I mean, I won't use the same questions next week.
No. This has got to be the bonus. I get the bonus for showing up. It's my attendance reward.
All right. I think it's a fun quiz. I think it's different if you're listening along while we kill these 5 minutes waiting for this trailer. Play along. See if you can sort of nail what the theme of these quizzes and how it kind of works. All right. This is a good one. Ready? The answers are names of movies. That might help.
Movies.
I don't know if I needed to tell you that, but it's sort of been a question anyway. All right. This film, based on an incredible true story, shed light on the corruption of the Catholic Church and the news story that broke it.
Bro, what? This is not Marvel related?
It is very Marvel related. I didn't say it was a Marvel movie, but it is Marvel related.
Is that one Spotlight?
Spotlight. It is Spotlight.
Okay, yeah.
So I want to show you an easy one, the one I knew you'd get. There was a keyword in there that gave it away.
Is it the Catholic Church thing in Daredevil? Is that the connection?
So this is how the quiz is going to work like this. Anyone playing along? You got to get the name of the movie and you got to get the connection.
Okay.
Which I could have said beforehand, but we're doing this off the cuff. So I'll read it one more time. This film, based on an incredible true story in the light of corruption of the Catholic Church and the news story that told the world.
Okay.
Where's our Marvel connection?
Mm-hmm. Lois Lane.
No, the word incredible. It has the Incredible Hulk in it. Come on.
Oh, you're looking for a word. Okay, yeah. I get it now. I get it now.
That's why I wanted to give you a little preview because it is tough. If we would do a full breakdown, I would have done an example.
Also, to be clear, I know Lois Lane is DC. Don't at me. I was just being a tool.
I would like all of you guys to add him for the record. I didn't even realize you said Lois Lane, but that is funny.
Yeah,
I did not accept it. All right. Things are not so black and white when a man falls in love with someone based solely on her voice. What's the name of the movie and what's the connection to Marvel?
Oh my God, solely on her voice? Is this the Key and Peele sketch where he falls in love with the girl that he never talks to? You know what sketch I'm talking about. She's dead.
No,
She's dead.
I've never seen this sketch.
Oh my God. It's the greatest. Falls in love with her based purely on her voice. Little Mermaid. Yes? No, she doesn't have a voice. It's the opposite.
It's the opposite scenario. Or let's do one more time. See if you can find the keyword. Might help you retrace the steps.
Maybe.
Remember, things aren't so black and white when a man falls in love based solely on her voice.
I get that it's a black and white thing.
Well, it's not black and white. Only one of those words.
Well, Black Panther, right.
Oh, incorrect.
I think that's where we're going. No, we're not
Well,
going Black Panther.
it's not Black Panther. Who else has the word black in their name?
Black Widow.
Black Widow. So it's a ScarJo movie.
Oh, I haven't watched too many ScarJo movies though.
Oh, first off, okay. So the answer is the movie Her. Which,
Oh, I do know her. Yes, that's Joaquin Phoenix, right?
Yep.
I haven't seen it, but I do know of it.
That's
gonna be a fun quiz, Coach.
It's a tough quiz. It took me a long time to
put it together.
Put these stupid little word connections that like.
That's the best way to do it, though. I love the fresh stuff. What do you guys think of this fresh stuff we're doing on the Marvel Stuff podcast?
All right, we're gonna do one more because this is a fun one.
Okay.
A man is happy to take his son a cross-country trip and teach him all about the food truck business.
Happy Hogan.
Good.
Happy to take a food truck across the country. So Jon Favreau.
It's Jon Favreau. It's my favorite Jon Favreau movie, actually.
Yeah, but you're referencing like kind of obscure movies.
Her won an Oscar. Her made a bunch of money.
No,
I'm betting a decent majority of our audience has
maybe
watched
you're right.
both Her and the movie Chef with Jon Favreau.
Well, your boy is not one of them because I have not seen either of those movies. So
maybe that gives you. That's what I'm saying. But maybe now you have a week to just study.
Try and watch all of movies in history.
Every movie that has any MCU actor in it, which at this point is every movie.
All of them. Yeah, that's going to be fun
movies.
with Samuel L. Jackson. That's for sure. Dude's got a back catalog.
There's not a lot of. I mean, Fury. I guess I can fit the weird Fury into something.
Yeah. I'm not seeing anything on this trailer thing, but what have you been doing, Coach? Anything good?
Let's just do a little, a little. What have I been doing? So here's the. So my baby loves football.
Yep. Okay.
And Mando. So number one, it's always very funny. Every Wednesday, she knows. This is actually like impressive. She
knows what day Wednesday is.
18 months. Impressive. She knows what day Wednesday is. And she knows that as soon as like her butt gets changed in the morning, we wake up, change butt, get ready. She knows to be like, Mando? And I'm like, are you serious right now?
Watching Mando, dude.
I'm like, yeah, it's time. That's always
my daughter was a daddy's girl all day today. And then at the very end of the day, I shaved my face before she went to bed. And she cried. wasn't a big fan of the bald faced daddy. She was not super pumped. Hopefully she gets over that pretty quick, but I didn't think about that all that much before I decided to shave it and grow it out thicker. So
now that's what
just happened to me. So that bummed me out.
They'll get there. The other thing is this baby, she wants to watch me play Madden. I'm sick of playing Madden. Like I actually want to play my Mass Effect. I want to play through Mass Effect again. I haven't in a while. But she always wants to go upstairs and she always just points to the TV and just football. Oh my
That's funny, dude. Now I've been playing a lot of video games lately, but I got the Arkham games again, even though I've put 100 to 150 hours into each of them. It was like $5 for all three of them and I never played it on PlayStation. I was like, I haven't played through these in like 5 years. So I started playing Arkham Asylum again. And that's it's just drawing me back to whenever it came out in 2009.
Tell the audience what you've been thinking of Midnight Suns. Also, audience, tell us if you guys have played Midnight Suns.
Yeah, I've so I check my PlayStation app often when it comes to the trophy stuff, and it tells you like the percentage of people that have like completed that trophy, right? And people are not sticking with Midnight Suns. So I just beat the first like official part to like the New York section, and you get an achievement for that. And it was like only 33% of players have gotten to that point. So like a third of the people that play this game have gotten past the first part. And I think is it 2 or 3 parts? You played through it all the way.
3 parts. So yeah, that's fascinating to me.
Yeah, I finally got my boy Wolverine, so I'm very excited about that. I played a couple rounds with him, and he's a fun one for sure. I like Midnight Suns though. It takes some of the best parts of like the old classic Marvel video games, and then like it's cool that you have like a home base you can explore through and like build friendships and go on friend dates with everyone there and train with them. So you get a bonus for the next time you bring them on a mission with you. and you get to unlock different skins and stuff. It's just like a really good game. I think the only thing that like people hate about it is that it's a turn-based card game. But I got over that very quickly, and I do enjoy it quite a lot. I'm just playing.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point now that I play like on the highest difficulty, and like trying like once you like really understand how the cards work together and like each person's like abilities and like how to use them, their decks get like really interesting, and like how you level the cards up and what like bonus perks you give them. Like it gets cool, and every character is cool.
It's hard to get me to replay a video game. As I just said, I've replayed Arkham a million times, but that's like one of the few exceptions where now if I beat a game, I'm like, all right, check it off the list. Moving on to the next one.
Yeah, it's hard. We're old, man. It's hard to keep those things going. But it's fun. I like all the characters in it. I like the sort of the different dynamics, especially because they're different than the MCU versions of themselves. Not that
yes, I do like that a lot. Like you said, there's some non-MCU characters, ones that might be showing up later. Like I love that Nico from the Runaways is in it. That's pretty cool. Like that was an obscure Hulu show from 6 years ago that I actually didn't finish, but I did read the entire first graphic novel, and it's good stuff. Like they're fun characters.
She's awesome, and
she's awesome. Yes,
she's really cool. And
I love Magic. Magic's freaking sweet too. Like just X-Men, but raised in Limbo. She was in New Mutants, the movie.
She feels very DC. She feels like a Teen Titan, really.
Oh, you feel okay? That's fun. Yeah, man, I don't mind that.
Like she's a Teen Titan. Maybe it's just because that show is so goth and
yeah, but like that's how you get me interested in things.
I know. No, I do like
a goth enthusiast.
I do like Magic, and she's got. I don't know if you've leveled. Once you level up a character's friendship all the way, you get to do
I've not done that yet.
You get to do like a special mission for them to unlock their super card.
Ooh, that's sick, dude. I'm gonna build one. I'm gonna focus on one that I didn't know that was a thing. I've been trying to like keep it balanced to where I keep myself in good spirits with everyone, but that's actually pretty fun to do it that way.
It's virtually impossible to level everyone's friendship to max in one playthrough, so it's kind of cool. But I think she has the coolest super card, at least that I've gotten. I guess I haven't gotten all the DLC ones yet, but I like hers, and Iron Man's the best.
I do like Iron Man in that game. It's fun.
He's weird. He's very different than the Robert Downey Jr. one. All right.
I just looked. It's not there. But other video games I've been playing, if we want to keep going on the video game train, Last of Us remake, the first one, been playing that, and then I'm playing the RE4 remake, so Resident Evil 4 that everybody's obsessed with right now. It's rightfully so. That game is so fun. I love it. It's just so over the top corny, but also graphic horror. It's the best game, dude.
I've never been able to do the Resident Evil thing. I've watched playthroughs. I'll watch a whole playthrough on YouTube. I think
I love the like things jumping at you and stuff. It's fun, man. I didn't know I liked horror games until I started playing with my brother Adam, which shout out Agent Ice Tray on YouTube if you want to watch him streaming. We've done a few horror games together, and it turned me on to the whole thing for sure.
I do love that guy. All right, I'll tell you what we'll do here is we'll cut the thing here, and then if a trailer drops here in the next hour or two, we'll jump back on, we'll record a reaction to it, and then we'll kind of just stitch the episode together for the pod. Sound good to everybody? By that I mean Josh.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, if it's they don't post it till 10, I'm definitely not.
I agree. Yep. No, then we will record a reaction tomorrow.
Yep.
But, yep. All right. If it comes on, this episode will be longer. If not, this is the end of the episode. And thank you guys so much for hanging out. And we appreciate you guys, obviously, but try not to have too much fun without us until the Secret Invasion trailer never drops, which will be
never coming out. It's rumored.
All right. Sounds good. Peace. Yeah, we'll end the